I'm Narrelle Harris. I'm a writer of fantasy and crime and romance and erotica, frequently, all in the one book. What I've been watching lately, actually I was thinking about this for Terry, and it turns out I'm watching a lot of superhero stuff. I adored the Captain Marvel film after so much of the Marvel universe, and I know people have talked about sort of feeling they've had their fill of that, but I've still been really enjoying them, even though there's, you could rank the qualities of them. But Captain Marvel was just such a standout for me because the way it's centered on Carol and her life and her experiences, and the way that she managed and dealt with that, and how she was so unapologetic about needing to sort of semi-spoiler, but not needing to prove herself to anybody because she has that confidence in herself. And one of my favourite scenes is that scene, and the one with her friend where she's going, I don't know who I am, and her friends basically just being Girl Squad right there go, well, I know who you are, and lists all her great traits. And that's a thing I have found in friendships with with everybody, with some of the women in my life particularly, the cheer squad, the standing up for you, and when you're filled with doubt, not having a good time about how you feel about yourself or work, there are your friends telling you what they see when you can't see that for yourself. So that was really powerful and important to me in that film. It reflected my life experience. It was so nice to see that up in the cinema. On television, I've been watching for I watch a lot of different shows for different reasons. So Legends of Tomorrow, I found the first season of that a couple of years ago not terribly well written in terms of, I keep saying, there's a lot of time travel, but their attitude seems to be causality, schmausality. And the first season I didn't feel as good, but the second season onwards has just been whip-snorting good fun. And I'm still not entirely sure that it's very well written, but I'm having much too good a time with all the super queerness from, from north to south and east to west, and it's such good fun. So I'm just having the best of time with that. And so as a follow-on from that, I'm watching in various fits and spurts things like The Flash and Supergirl, which I'm still really, really enjoying. And again, having that sort of female characters as a centre, then you get some slightly different takes and things that haven't been emphasised before or seen as important before about particular views from a female point of view. And look, I'm saying that sometimes I think, well, there shouldn't be such a difference between what men and women sort of feel and interact. Like friendships are important to everybody, love and relationships and the complex things about that are important to everybody. But there's just a way they're being looked at with these shows with female characters, which is really, really appealing to me. I've also, just in a slightly inappropriate way, been really enjoying the last season of Lucifer. This is, again, I said inappropriate because when shows go to Netflix, they seem to enjoy a lot more nudity. So Tom Ellis's Bottom has been featuring quite heavily in season 4 of Lucifer. That's just been a joy. But again, such good female characters as well, like a really good balanced broadcast of really good, interesting, textured characters of either gender, and reflecting a lot of diversity in the casting and the way the stories are being told. So that's good fun as well, and a lot of exploration of the concept of evil and responsibility, which has been good fun. Along with everybody else, obviously, I was watching The Umbrella Academy, having read the comic book when it came out a couple of years ago. I've just started to watch What We Do in the Shadows, the TV series, because I love the original film. As a writer of vampire fiction, it was just, to me, hilarious, the vampires in the share house, and the TV series is doing a really good job, and it's very funny. It's been relocated to I think it's New York.
Staten Island.
Staten Island, thank you. That's right, because they're trying to take over Staten Island at the moment. That was good. Wellington Supernatural, I think that was called, I watched a couple of months ago. So yeah, I like the quirky humour. I still like vampires. I'm still watching a lot of superhero stuff. In the non-superhero genre, I'm currently watching Gentleman Jack because I got a Foxtel subscription to watch Game of Thrones, but there's enough there to stuff that I want to keep watching, and I'm saving up Chernobyl to watch because Tim's travelling, my other half's travelling at the moment. When he comes back, we're going to watch the Chernobyl TV series. He's actually been to Chernobyl and been, as a travel writer, he visited there. So we're very much looking forward to that as a docudrama. And I've also been watching the Great British Bake Off, because that's just so calming and relaxing, because the stakes are so low. But on the downside, I've been craving baked goods a lot. Eating them too. And the idea about whether or not you can get superhero burnout, I found that really intriguing, because if you take more broadly the idea of comic book burnout, because not all comics are superhero based. Comics, like other written forms, it would be like saying, well, I have book burnout because there are just so many books, and they're all different genres. And even so, in comic books, there's lots of different genres, but even amongst superhero stories, there's lots of different genres. So I think one of the things at the moment is that a lot of films have been taking just a particular approach, a particular take on comic books, and DC seems to have gone more towards the dark interpretations, and I guess you might say that Marvel has been a bit more spandex. DC's been much more about like little teams and the TV series. I think they're all working really, really well. Well, I haven't got Burnout yet. I think there's some series or films are better made than others, or more engaging or less engaging than others. I don't have Burnout yet, because to me there's still, whether or not somebody's wearing spandex doesn't necessarily impact on whether it's a good story. Now, I do think that amongst superhero characters that I've read in comics, that there's still a lot of options, there's still a lot of interesting takes and stories to be told, and the fact whether or not people have powers doesn't stop them also just having really difficult personal lives. I can still watch cozy crime and mystery and drama till the cows come home. I think people get kind of fixated on the costume idea of superheroes and the superpower sort of superheroes, but I never get tired of Vera solving crimes and calling everybody pet. I guess it's individual taste. Some people might be kind of tired of that, but I think there's room for expansion in how those stories are told, and I would like to see a little bit more of a shift. But I think some of that's happening already, so I know that there's the upcoming Doom Patrol, which even in the comic books universe at the time that Grant Morrison's came out, that was a shift again, very surreal and kind of philosophical. So yeah, I think there's life in it yet, because there's so much still untapped, even just from the original source material, about ways of telling those stories within a very, like a genre that seems to be defined by costumes.
Hello, I'm Roman Ozansky. I'm a cyclist, broadcaster, podcaster, science fiction fan, and activist for environmental causes. I've been asked to tell you what film I can recommend, what media I'm consuming. The film I want to recommend is Top End Wedding. It's a recent Australian film. It's a rom-com, but it's sweet without being sentimental. It's beautifully acted, it's not predictable, and if you're suffering the midwinter blues, by all means go and see this film. You'll come out with a smile on your face. It starts in Adelaide and ends up in the Tiwi Islands, and along the way we visit Darwin, Kakadu, the Catherine Gorge. So see it on the big screen, because it really is quite spectacular. It's very tightly written and very tightly edited, so you won't predict what's going to happen. It is surprising in all sorts of interesting ways, but it's also delightful. And I don't think there's a wasted scene in the whole film. So it's a nice tight film and beautifully done. Well worth catching. Superhero burnout, yeah, we all suffer from it. You've seen the superhero movies. They're 2.5 hours long, and they've got 40 minutes of pointless fight scene, and they don't actually tell you much about what's happening anyway. You get a few exceptions to we're talking movies and TV shows. You get a few exceptions. Shazam was quite fun. The Captain Marvel was nicely done. but all too many of them, like the Superman and Batman slugfest, completely pointless. There's no reason for that movie to exist. So it is a problem, and I think the Hollywood expectations that they're going to have a big superhero brawl doesn't help the structure of the movie or what's actually being said or done. Yeah, I saw Avengers Endgame. Parts of it were fun, parts of it were very annoying. It's difficult to do a good time travel movie, but it worked because they broke up the huge superhero team into smaller teams. What they used to do in the old Justice League adventures. You have sub-teams doing stuff, so it wasn't clear that the team had enough power, nous, or technique to take out the villains or sub-villains. But I think people are pretty sick of science fiction, of superhero movies, and they wouldn't mind seeing movies of other kinds. I'm betting that spy thrillers will make a big comeback, particularly given the centenary of various war events. We'll see how it goes. Anything I want to push? Look, I heartily recommend the Binti series of novellas. Absolutely brilliantly written. Seems like a really simple story. A girl runs away to go to university, leaves home. The difference is that she leaves the planet to go to a different university, and she travels on a sentient spaceship. I won't tell you more about that. I don't want to give you any spoilers, but the 3 novellas are absolutely stunning. Well worth reading.
Okay, hi, I'm Lindy Cameron. I'm a genre writer and the publisher of Clandestine Press, and today I'm at Continuum and I'm talking about superheroes, my absolute favourite thing. I don't think there's any such thing as superhero burnout. I'm pretty happy with my genre life at the moment, because every time a new superhero is announced that's coming out, I just get excited. I've been one for my entire life. I started with George Reeves as Superman and Adam West as Batman, and it's just got better and better over the years. So, and what have I been watching lately? Umbrella Academy, Jessica Jones. I love all the DC TV shows like Flash and Supergirl. I love Supergirl, mostly because of the sister, because she's kick-ass. What else have we got? Marvel. I like most of the Marvel shows, and the movies. They can keep coming as far as I'm concerned. Best 2 movies in the last 2 years have been Wonder Woman and Captain Marvel.